I like to cheat in Valheim. Well, I'll let you be the judge. In this video, I'm going to take advantage of gaming mechanics and glitches to do things maybe not intended by the developers, like turning wood stacks into coal, skipping bosses by using a chair, and firstly, by hiring a troll to do my dirty work. A bronze axe enables the ability to chop down oak and birch trees. While this is true, trolls provide an alternative approach. Instead, get their attention and lure them to a fine wood providing tree and dodge their attacks. If lucky, they will make contact, breaking the tree, rewarding you with its riches. Similarly, use them to smash tin and copper veins if you have yet to craft a pickaxe. Further, later game creatures like abominations will also be available for hire. Dodge their attacks to knock down ancient trees and be rewarded with ancient bark, otherwise locked once again behind a bronze axe. 2. Of course, before getting to the Black Forest, you will need deer hide and meat for armor and sustenance. Ensure you exploit their silly AI to save you the suffering of having to use the inaccurate crude bow. Deer are not the smartest creatures, and with your hammer equipped, sprint at them and place a cooking station to impede their progress. Quickly switch to your weapon and take them down. With 5 of their trophies gathered, craft the Stag Breaker to take advantage of the 3 applications of the area of effect damage done by two-handed hammers. First, the Meadows is rich with treasure, especially in Viking graves identified by rock formations in the shapes of a ship. The secondary attack of a hammer will damage the treasure chest beneath the surface. After a few smashes, the chest will break and its loot will rise to the surface, relieving you of the need to craft the antler pickaxe. Second, two-handed hammers can be used to skip bowmass altogether and allow you progress into the mountains. Instead of using the wishbone to locate silver, march around the snowy biome and smash the ground. Pay attention for the text "too hard." This is your signal to dig, revealing the silver node. Third, the damage inflicted by the slamming attack does damage through walls. Use the Stag Breaker in burial chambers to clear out skeletons, or Iron Sledge in sunken crypts through muddy scrap piles. While inside dungeons, don't sleep on the structures you can build. Cooking stations, wood piles, and campfires can all be built without a workbench and can impede enemy progress. Block a choke point, stand back, and use range to defeat your enemies. Of course, when you inevitably step on your campfire or brush up against a bonfire, you will become familiar with how much damage they can deal. I don't believe the devs intended for fires to be used as weapons, but it would be a missed opportunity should you not learn to use these damage sources to your advantage and strategically place them in the path of creatures. If done with precision, they will walk straight into them and be set ablaze. Like with the campfire, bonfires can be placed and lit near larger creatures like Loxen and abominations for extra damage to supplement your weapon of choice. Fire sources are a key ingredient in game-breaking boss fight strategies, as you will see throughout the video. Speaking of boss fights, speed is critical to your survival in these fights, and therefore you must capitalize on the fact the hammer does not have a sheath animation. Normally, when withdrawing a weapon, your character is forced to pause their sprint briefly, with the hammer being the exception. Rather than sheath your weapon, switch to your hammer and sheath it to get back to sprinting as quickly as you can. As you make your way to the swamp, you will surely encounter an abomination. To best them easily, learn to manipulate their low hitboxes. When they spawn, retreat to a nearby sunken crypt, lay down a workbench, and hop on top. Get the attention of the creature with an arrow, and once nearby, attack it with your axe. Surprisingly, their attacks cannot hit you while atop the crypt. Continue to slice them with your axe and draw them back with your bow should they decide to wander off. Speaking of sunken crypts, you do not even need a swamp key to enter them. Rather, grab 4 fine wood and place a chair such that it intercepts with the iron gate of the crypt. If placed precisely, you'll be able to take a seat. As you stand, you will enter the crypt, making the Elder boss fight completely optional. While this is more commonly known, the ability to unlock an impenetrable base via the chair is also possible in the plains. Similar to what we did with the crypt, you can place a chair at the edge of a giant plains boulder, and like before, when we sit, we will enter the hollow insides of the rock. You will easily be able to walk through the edge face to leave as you wish and re-enter via the chair. Enemies won't be able to damage you, and therefore it makes for the perfect spot to place a portal and establish your base. In both the swamps and plains, damage over time will be a threat in the form of poison or fire. Fortunately, you can avoid the damage over time by engaging cutscenes by entering a dungeon or portal. While in these animations, your character is invincible. As a result, the damage over time timer will continue to tick down, but the damage that would have been dealt while in the animation is negated. Before leaving the swamp, you likely will have to usurp Bone Mass. To do this easily, take advantage of his low hitboxes like the abomination before it. Prepare a platform at a height just at the base of the eye socket of the Bone Mass's summoning skull and place core wood at its edge to prevent you from falling off. Further, add a roof, place a bed, and secure it so you can set your respawn in case you die or would like to take advantage of the next hack to supplement your strategy. If you input /die in the chat box, you will kill your character, leaving a tombstone. Do this several times, always ensuring to leave at least one item in your inventory so that a tombstone is created. From there, retrieve your body with your gear, summon the boss, and return to the platform. You'll now have the massive corpse run buff effect for high healing, stamina regen, and damage reduction for the fight. As it expires, interact with one of your other tombstones to regain it. Bone Mass will not be able to hit you here aside from his poison damage. Wail away at him, and should you happen to succumb to the poison, you will respawn at your bed placed on the platform. In time, Bone Mass will be defeated. Diving into the plains, you will likely encounter the muck-infested tar pits. When items are dropped into these pits, they cannot be removed without first draining the tar. That is, unless you have your trusty hoe. To save yourself time, grab some stone and raise the earth below your trapped item and watch as it pops to the surface. This is a handy trick too if losing an item in shallow water. Like with Bone Mass previously, there are cheesy methods to defeat both Motor and Yagluth, but this time using bonfires. For Motor, start by digging underneath her summoning altar. Dig a small cubby underneath the lip overhang of the stone that will be used for cover during the fight. From there, expand a space big enough to allow for the placing of a bonfire. However, do not dig too deeply. When the fight starts, Motor will land atop the platform, and if the hole is too deep, the flames will not touch the dragon. You can even build a small platform for a couple additional campfires for a chance at its supplementary damage. Once done, summon the beast, retreat to your cubby, and light the fires. In Valheim, bosses typically know where you are and will move towards your location. However, when losing line of sight, they won't attack, and in this case, Motor will periodically land on top of you. When she does, if done correctly, her wings and legs will clip into the flames and start dealing damage. Repair the fires as the fight goes on, and shortly, she will be defeated. For Yagluth, we take a similar approach and dig a shallow square of earth, again at a height shallow enough where a placed bonfire will just exceed the height of the hole. Once done, place floor pieces to seal the hole, but leave one space for you to return after summoning the Goblin King. With the boss summoned, retreat to your hole. Like Motor before, Yag will know our location and crawl towards us, but again, without the line of sight, he will be unable to attack. After the defeat of Yagluth, eggs become available at Haldor's shop, but did you know you can get eggs far earlier and even without defeating the Plains boss? Since the Hilder's Request update, there is a new way to acquire eggs and grow your chicken farm. In the basement of the Plains sealed tower will be a chest. After overcoming the challenge of Zil and Thunger, eggs will be yours. With Yag out of the way, we head into the mist to establish a new base. Inside the unforgiving biome, the Dvergr structures present one of the few havens of safety, but with the presence of wards, the player is unable to build inside without angering the native dwarves. However, you can destroy these wards by first building a cart outside the range of this device. Second, drag it inside and repeatedly bang the cart into the ward until it finally breaks. Unlike attacking it with a weapon, this won't provoke the Dvergr against you. As you likely know, while in the Mistlands, fall damage may very well be your biggest threat. But this cheat just might ease your mind. If you start falling from a great height, pause your game just prior to hitting the ground and log out. When you log back in, you will fall the remaining distance, but the momentum you had before the logout will be gone, saving you some major damage and potentially your life. This works well too when taking damage over time, like from poison or fire. When logging out, all status effects applied to you are removed. Unfortunately, this means positive statuses like rested buff is also lost upon logout. With the Mistlands out of the way, we head into the daunting Ashlands, of which offers plenty of opportunities to cheat our way to success, starting with fortresses. While the developers intended for us to break down the gates with the Battering Ram, you can simply use a hoe and some stone to raise the earth below our feet and hop atop the fortress walls. Once inside, and with the fortress cleared again, while a Battering Ram would be more efficient to break inside the inner brick column, a pickaxe can still do the trick. That said, it does take a heck of a lot longer to break inside. All that said, the Battering Ram still has its own wicked use cases that may or may not have been intended by the Valheim team. Use it to destroy massive rock stones in the plains or even copper or silver nodes in the Black Forest or mountains. That said, I still believe the Trollstav is the most efficient, as the damage they do when spiraling in from the sky is absolutely devastating. And speaking of magic, the Ashlands update introduced a hack that makes kilns completely obsolete. This tip does require that you have the fire spread setting enabled in your world modifier settings. If so, craft a wood stack and place it. Once done, take your Staff of Embers and blast the stack immediately, converting the 50 wood to 50 coal. And of course, the best cheat in Valheim is enabling dev commands. With these enabled, you can turn on creative mode to enable flight, make yourself invincible, or spawn anything your heart desires, amongst endless more possibilities. If you want to learn more about the power of these commands, check out my full guide right here.